On the campus of BYU, ranked 8-0, 1-0 this season, number 8 in the country, St. Francis, night 2 against the Red Flash. Great to have you with us. Jeremy Jordan alongside the BYU Hall of Famer Amy Gant. Last night to open the season, BYU won in 3 sets, convincingly. They're hoping to do it again tonight. St. Francis is hoping to split.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of steadiness out of this BYU squad who boasts 10 new players. So really impressive that they were able to really find that rhythm early. They're going to look to continue that. And St. Francis is going to want to disrupt and just serve lights out.
They certainly need more from the pins. Last night didn't get a ton. Nobody had 6 kills. Sam Lane, the middle blocker, led the way. Brady Stump specifically, he'll stay in the starting lineup. They'll need more from him and others.
Now, a lot of different St. Francis players are going to get a chance to start and play in this kind of environment. But like you said, a lot of offense needed from this team.
For BYU, Trent Mosier spent his first 2 years in Provo. Last year at Grand Canyon, they cut the program. He made his debut again at BYU and was spectacular. 14 kills in 3 sets.
Really looked like that senior leadership on the floor. His game management was really impressive, making the right decision, the right swing at the right time, knowing when to go for it and when to just get that ball in and let his defense do its work.
Part of a BYU offense, they hit 310 as a team. He hit 333 himself. Our 300-plus hitter on the pins is Kenzie Daly, who now joins us courtside. Hi, Ken.
Thanks, Sherm. Last night, BYU took care of business with a sweep over St. Francis, but the score doesn't fully tell the story. St. Francis applied consistent pressure, especially early in sets, forcing BYU to feel uncomfortable and have to battle back into each set. Back-to-back matches against the same opponent gives both teams a much better understanding of tendencies, matchups, and adjustments. For BYU, the key tonight will be leaning into their physicality and speed, using their size at the net to control points and their tempo to stay a step ahead as St. Francis looks to make counters of their own.
Thank you, Kenzie. Let's check out the starting lineups, beginning with St. Francis. 3 differences. Nicholas Lynch will move from middle blocker to opposite. Braden Gall will start at middle blocker. Nate Duff in at libero. And the other third starter, 4th difference, is Braden Karuzovic, who's going to be the setter. BYU going with the same lineup as last night. It's Funga and Mosier the outsides. Tyler Herget saw his brother come off the bench. Trevor, he was spectacular. Connor Oldini had 10 digs last night as the opposite. The middles, AJ Cottle and Gavin Chambers. The libero is Jackson Fife. 2 dominant colors in this one. Nobody in white, which is kind of fun. BYU in black, St. Francis in red. And here we go, night 2. BYU and St. Francis. Oldani dug up right out of the gate. The diving dig by Herget. And Stump into the net. New connection trying to be established with Braden Karuzovic, 1-0 BYU.
All right, switching up players is one thing. Switching up a setter just changes the whole dynamic on the floor. Karuzovic in there to set tempo, really push that tempo and try to open up some places for his team to hit into.
Taylon Jonathan Tafuga unleashed a 76-mile-an-hour serve last night. Set over the reset. Pounded, dug up. That was Nicholas on the offering. Oldani dug up for a second time. Herget, high and slow, and St. Francis into the net as well, point BYU.
Herget going back to Oldani 2 times in that rally, allowing him to utilize that high contact, hitting up and over that block to the corner.
The St. Francis mix-up, by the way, was not because of anything anyone didn't do last night. That was predetermined, as that one goes 72, but just out. That was Mike Rumbaugh, they call him Rummy, 28th year at the helm for St. Francis. He had told us on Wednesday that, hey, we're gonna mix this up on Saturday either way. It's early, try to figure out who you like at what point. Lane has got to go over now from 5. That was an attempt on 2 by Karuzovic, met by the BYU block. Paint brushed by Chambers. Out of system swing from Decker. BYU in transition, and Moser is stuffed by the 6'10" Braden Gall, the junior from Wisconsin.
Well, and you talk again about just the different look of lineup. Coach Rumbaugh said down the stretch, we are going to need all of the players on the bench to make an impact throughout the season. So he wants them to have that experience of playing in this environment where it's tough, where you have to battle. So he knows that he can trust them when it comes down to it later stages of this conference, when he gets into conference play.
The conference being the Northeast Conference, the NEC. They have an auto bid to the tourney. Damon won it last year. The regular season champs were St. Francis. They were bummed not to represent the NEC. And that one lifted up by Lane. It was simultaneous contact, so I guess that goes. But that one goes out. Otherwise, BYU would have challenged a lift there.
I think so. He almost caught that ball and hey, catch, release.
And he laughed. Sam did kind of like, oh, you didn't learn the lift? Okay, we're cool. 3-3. Overpassed. Set back over. Mosier had enough, and Stump was like, I'll get out of the way. I think the block did touch it. But Mosier trying to get every swing he can here in the first couple of points so far.
Well, and already we've seen long rallies, longer than we saw last night, as these teams feeling comfortable. They've made adjustments defensively. They're trying to pop more balls up and continue to extend that rally.
Ruzovic to goal with his left hand. How about that?
Well, St. Francis runs a lot of combination plays in that double quick, pushing it outside like a 3 and then a go right on top of each other. If you're a blocker, it's really tough. You know where the ball's going, but there's so many hitters in that area, you don't know who's going to swing. And with which hand, apparently, on that one.
Yeah, apparently, jeez. Mosier. Ruzovic. Got 2 kills early for Trent Mosier. Transferred after the 24 season to Grand Canyon. Played against BYU last year with the Lopes. They ended up cutting their program, and within seemingly hours, he was the one reaching out to BYU to say, hey, an opportunity to come back, because BYU guys were reaching out saying, hey, I'm so sorry, this stinks for you guys. And it's a member of the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. It's a D1 team. St. Francis D1, by the way, I have to correct myself last night. D1 program. They're going to D3 next year in athletics. So that will certainly be a transition for the Red Flash. And that is a serving line violation. 6-5 BYU here early in set 1 of match 2. Big news out of the scores from last night. On night 2 in Honolulu, Loyola takes down Hawaii. Typically, if you upset Hawaii, it's on night 1. It's not going to be on night 2. So that was a big result. Off the block of Cottle goes Brady Stump, the senior from York, PA, ties it at 6. St. Francis head coach Mike Rumbaugh said, "What's the difference between, D1 and D3?" He goes, I have guys that can dunk, and then next year I'll have guys that can touch the rim. And that one's just out. Bit of a difference tonight for Lynch Nicholas. He was the middle blocker last night. He's playing Oppo.
You make that switch. You got to learn how, as we get a good look here.
Okay, last night Sean tried to make a good pass. That was much better. Still not up to his standard, but he said, I've never shanked a ball before. Is that what you call it? The libero of BYU's 2004 national championship team, set over by Herger. And then on 2, out of the back, that one goes wide for Jackson Decker, the junior from Meadville, PA, 8'6" Cougars.
St. Francis really trying to bring a lot more power and energy to challenge this BYU team, but struggling a little bit of when it's a yellow light swing. Keep that ball in play if it's not the exact spot that you need it.
A.J. Cotto on the serve for BYU, and that's a nice swing on the right side through the seam in the block for Lynch Nicholas.
Lynch, a great player, as he makes that transition to the outside. You have to really wait on that higher set. Obviously, in the middle, you're used to going fast. When you're blocking on that right side after blocking middle, though, it's a breath of fresh air.
10 kills, 7 blocks in the semifinals of the conference tournament last year. One of his best matches. Goes long on that one. BYU head coach Sean Olmstead telling us last night he liked BYU serving, still thinks it can be tougher. They put a ton of time into it. And at this level, especially in the MPSF, if you don't bring it from the service line, you are toast. Never gets over. And Tyler Herget putting the pressure on. Timeout, St. Francis. They want to talk about it. Cougars jump out 10-7 early in set 1 on a Saturday night in pro. MPSF Volleyball is presented by Brady Plus, delivering the right supplies plus support to ensure businesses are more successful. eAssist Dental Health Education Foundation. Learn more at visityourdentist.org. And by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Winter semester. Most campuses call it spring. Here it's winter semester because there's a spring and a summer semester. They break it up. Tons of extracurricular on-campus stuff with BYU sports camps, and it used to be called EFY, now it's FSY, youth camps and women's conference and so on. So winter semester started Wednesday. Back in school for all these guys as Nicholas goes into the net. 11-7. You call the timeout, you drop a certain play, and you hope that gets executed. And for St. Francis, unfortunately, did not. Cougars by 4 here in set 1. Tyler Herget, back service. Brother Trevor's on the team. His dad Todd played linebacker here. Shout out to Todd. He's watching from Connecticut tonight. He'll be here next week, I'm told. And his son just had an ace. The Karate Kid does it again. He doesn't always wear that in practice, but he donned it last night and tonight. It's a look. I like it.
Well, when you serve like that, you can wear whatever you want.
Exactly. I don't know if like a full-on beanie would work or be legal. We could try it. Stump, better pass this time. Lane is blocked, kept alive initially by Nate Duff, the freshman, getting the start, but BYU now increases that lead to 6.
You talk so much about the importance of serving. That sets up your defense. You serve to play defense. That was a great example there. Great serve from Herget that allowed the block to really hone in on who was going to get set, line that up, and get a block.
We serve, that time into the net, but handcuffing St. Francis to the tune of 118 negative hitting percentage at the moment. BYU just 154 and had a 5-0 run up until that moment. Here's Brady Stump. He went off for 3 aces in a row last night in set 1. That was 73 into the net. He's got to certainly get it over, but you can see the power potential. BYU will host UC San Diego out of the Big West next weekend. UC Irvine the week after that on this 6-match homestand. Taylin, Jonathan DeFuga, super high toss, and that almost went under. If you served under, was it donuts in your day? Is it still donuts?
You know,
what's the code?
People would say that, but never in my life have someone actually force someone to bring donuts. But I have heard people have
those
done
donuts, I think.
Right. People do, for sure.
I'd have 3 of them at least. Bring me along. That one goes into the net.
It's 2 errors in a row for BYU, kind of opening the door a little bit, allowing St. Francis to try to find their rhythm. Yes, up by 4, but for BYU right now, they want to just foot on the gas, keep going, and really break open this first set.
Lane trickles that one over the top of the tape, and then Mosier puts it away. He's got 3 of BYU's 4 kills. Neither team trying to score via kills right now.
No.
4 each at 15-10, which is a very low number.
Right,
Let's see how we can score without doing it.
Right, more a serve and pass game.
There's Gavin Chambers, sophomore from Corona, California. Married Claire Little on the women's volleyball team at BYU. AJ Cottle Starting off a night of what we think might be great performances from guys named AJ in Utah, as AJ DeBonsa and the number 9 BYU Cougars play up in Salt Lake tonight. The team jokes, we've got the real AJ. And again, that's a joke, because AJ DeBonsa is the real deal, man. Blocked by Oldaney and off the candy cane. BYU pushing the pedal down now, 17-10 with a couple of solid blocks.
And you look at that blocking footwork, these players on the court are new. You look at Cottle, new to Division I play, and his eye work and his ability to get up and over, really impressive.
Second and final timeout from the Red Flash. Left kind of midway through the 24 season. 25 led Grand Canyon in kills. Now he's back and he's the alpha offensively for this BYU team. He'll be asked to do a lot.
Well, as far as playing, carrying that big load, but that leadership responsibility and stepping up, he's now the guy in the big moments that's going to get the set.
And Nicholas goes out. Oh, BYU into the net.
After 2 big stuff blocks, you know, you're feeling yourself a little bit, maybe pressing too much.
But you never did that. You never had 2 stuff blocks.
Sean never shanked a ball. I was never in the net, ever.
I see how it is. AJ Cottle. What a story he was last night. So freshman year at Utah Valley, goes on a mission to Argentina, comes back, and is a starting middle blocker at BYU. 6'8", 7-foot wingspan. Grew up coming to BYU camps, going to games. He told me last night after the match, I've dreamed about playing in here, and last night did for the first time. And that set was low for a lot of people, as Nicholas looked at him like, what in the world?
Well, I think it's tough when you are charged to really push the speed. It's all well and good when that pass is perfect, but the further you get off the net to maintain the speed on the set just gets more difficult.
This is from Muldaney, 66. And pounded by Braden Gall, who's looked good in the middle. 6'10" middle blocker, tallest dude on either team. We mentioned it last night, but lots of seniors on this team, lots of size and height. St. Francis, not your typical kind of non-power league team. They bring it, man, and they had some real challenges to BYU last night. Certainly trying to dial it in from the service line. Different lineup tonight, trying to figure it out, but they've got some impressive players, man. I think they're going to be a real challenger again in the Northeast Conference.
Definitely. They return 87% of their offensive output, and like you said, they're really physical, really good.
That was a one-hand serve receiver. That was incredible. Stump. Nice. 5 keeps it up. Good swing. Set over and the big net by Nicholas. So BYU has scrapped its way to 21 points. So watch this serve receive. One hand from Jackson Decker. That's not how you draw it up, but
yeah,
if it's coming in hot, you just keep that up.
Good set.
Man, 6 kills for BYU, 21 points. Through the block for Nicholas. He's done that a couple of times. He's got 4 kills on 8 swings. And here's Braden Gall, going to contact this ball as a 6'10" guy coming down up over the net. Out of the middle for Cottle. Nice dig by Decker. Back to Nicholas. Those two need to figure out the timing. Let's check in with Kenzie.
Yeah, Jerem, we're seeing a little bit of a different lineup from St. Francis than we saw last night, and part of the reason for that is Coach Rumbaugh told me earlier tonight that every year in their championship tournament over the last several years, they've been faced with tragedies and injuries, and they've had to put players out on the court who maybe weren't necessarily ready for that moment. So a match like tonight, he wants to get these players some playing time and get them exposed if they were to experience something like that again.
Absolutely invaluable. I really like it too, because yes, you'd love to pull off the upset, but it's more about, hey, let's prepare non-conference play for conference play, because for St. Francis, hey, we got to win our league, and then we've been in matches like this. Oh, by the way, they're going to host Hawaii, which is awesome. They play at Stanford. They play at Penn State. So they've got some big matches to prepare themselves for those moments. Win your league, then it's not unfamiliar territory when you're playing a team like BYU or better in the NCAA tournament.
Exactly. This is January, and all of these players and coaches are looking ahead to April.
By the way, BYU hosting the MPSF tournament. That'll be fun. Talon Jonathan Tavuga hammers that one. That's just his second swing. First kill. Set point BYU. Herget, his toss was to his right. Sam Lane led the Red Flash with 6 kills last night. He's got 2 in this first set. Set point number 2. Here's Stump. Good server. In for the ace. Had 3 in set 1 last night. He's got 1 here tonight.
And for St. Francis, getting that ace, getting a couple of good plays heading into the second set, that gives them momentum and tempo. They want to build on that.
Yes, 4 of the 6 on the weekend. In again! Trent Mosier trying to do his best Neo from the Matrix. And Stump went 2 in a row. He went 3 in a row last night. Does he go 3 in a row right here? Number 17 with 17 points for St. Francis. He does not go 3 in a row. Oldaney dug up. Quick to Decker, cuts it in. That was a filet mignon down the line. Cross court. I mean, that was a hard angle to hit into. Nice.
Well, and interesting, that spot, you circle that on the floor. That has been 3 separate kills for St. Francis.
And then Stump goes long, that'll do it. But it took 4 set points. A little bit of pressure there. They cut it to 7. Little bit of mo for the Red Flash. BYU ultimately wins 25-18 on 7 kills. That might be the fewest kills in a set 1 they've had in a while. Man. Cougars hit 238. St. Francis 0-3-4. Cougars draw first blood. Set 2 coming up after this. With some teams, other times it's nothing. It's nothing this weekend. St. Francis something though in the NEC Northeast Conference. Damon and St. Francis tied for first in the preseason poll, and then BYU picked to finish 5th. Basically, the D1s are the top 5, and the D2s are the bottom 5. Bit of a rebuild for BYU, and we'll see how they fare because the NCAA tournament is a 12-team tournament, was 9. There are 5 at-large bids. So there's an opportunity there for BYU, a team like BYU, to perhaps be the second to last team in.
A really exciting, and given last season and the amount of incredible teams that didn't make the tournament, just having it go to 12 just provides so much opportunity for these squads to continue their season and make a run.
I mean, we're old enough to remember when it was 4 teams. I mean, there was 1 at-large bid, and there were essentially 3 leagues that got a bid, and now the game is expanded. D1 and D2 compete in the same competition. I wonder one day if we'll have a separate D2 competition and what that could look like. Set 2 underway. Good serve by Tyler Herget. Sky high for Jackson 5. Nice job by Decker to keep it alive, and then Stump goes long. 1-0 to start the set. BYU did not have a great offensive first set. St. Francis struggled with the new lineup. 3 different players and 4 switches. They had a middle play opposite, Lynch Nicholas. And Charles is back in there, by the way, to start set 2. They call him Chuck. Kyle Charles, as he establishes a massive hit by Stump.
And there's that spot again, right, for St. Francis. Just inside the sideline, about the 3 slot. That is going to go down over and over. You talked to Olmstead prior to the match, and he said we really want to get that bit going a little bit more. And you look at it from Trent Mosier coming out of the back row, can hit to either angle. It's really going to be a good one as they continue to get that rhythm.
He didn't hit the middle very much in that first set. Tipped over. St. Francis into the net. You don't see that from the offensive team too often. 3-1, Sam Lane, the violator. There's Talon Jonathan Tufunga, redshirt junior from Long Beach, California. As much as he's been rostered, 20, 21, 25, 26, never played with Trent Mosier. Amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First time. Played against last year, but never with. Lane. Fife does his job. Muldaney up and over the top. Charles. Stump. This is still live. Muldaney wants a piece. Some bloomin' onion. Third kill for Muldaney.
When you look at Jackson Fife, just really starting out that play that BYU was able to finish off, Fife has just been so steady there in that libero position. Talking to Coach Olmstead prior to the season, he just said, we need him on the floor. He's a leader for us, and he just gets the job done. Even talking to St. Francis coach, he said, I really like that libero on the other side, watching him and watch how he moves and how smooth and steady, and he picks everything up.
Doesn't he look like a dentist? He's applying for dental school. Just that if someone's staring into my teeth and giving me feedback I don't want about my gums, I want it to be Jackson 5. 5-2. Muldaney.
Yeah, finding a fire
rhythm.
there.
Come on. It's always let's go or come on, or I don't think there's very much,
No, it's
other than that.
Yeah,
it's a lot of that as that one gets past Chambers on the left side. Third kill for Brady Stump, who will serve it up. He had 2 in a row. He's got 5 first set aces. Looking for his first outside that first set from last night and tonight. That one goes long. Pass to Tufunga. All that off-season yoga worth it. By the way, when Tufunga served a moment ago into the net, I know it's into the net. But when I see 77 on the gun, I go, oh my gosh. But you got to get it over, otherwise 1 mile an hour doesn't matter. Kind of a sidewinding toss from Muldaney. It's interesting. Tipped over by Charles, the chuckster. Tufunga, right to us. Amy with the touch. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done, Amy. Still got it. Back in the day when middles had hands.
Right. You're making it sound like I dug the ball. I punched it, ladies and gentlemen.
You
so
kept it away from Alana, our longtime amazing stage manager. That's our main goal, is protect Alana. Chase Davidson, our statistician, on the other hand, he can manage them himself. Alana, though, protect at all costs. 7-4. Nicholas, every time he gets a good one, he's like, you just see like this exhale of increased anticipation of wanting to do more. Mosier hangs and fires.
And Herget again really setting well, making great choices. You see him moving that tempo along, pushing that ball all the way outside to the antenna. That allowed Mosier the ability to hit down the line. Because of the speed, it's lower and faster. It's got to be on point.
Mosier into the net, nearly hits the back of A.J. Cottle.
Well, in that particular play, you could see Mosier kind of pulling the string a little bit, right? Off-speed spin serve. And talking to St. Francis, he said, we don't see that much. And that was new last night, just playing around with the depth of those serves.
Big block by Braden Gull and Jackson Decker. Stuffing Muldaney on the right side on the D-ball. Decker, the junior from Pennsylvania, getting the start tonight. Played a little libero last year as well. Charles into the net. We've seen a lot of bottom of the tape serves this weekend. Is that a product of January 9th and 10th?
I think, tell the coaches that, they'll say, no, let's go, clean it up. But yeah, let's say it's the first weekend of the season and you're trying to bomb the ball and get that ace. At some point, though, you've got to make a good choice, get that in.
Nicholas with 6 kills. That might not be significant, but last night, that led any St. Francis player. And so Nicholas, or Lynch Nicholas getting the opportunity. Off the tape. This one's jousted, and Herget wins it. That's what setters do.
It's going to go up and then turn, push last, and get that ball through.
Correction, by the way, it's Nicholas Lynch. I've been calling him the wrong name all weekend. Switch it up, my bad. 10-7. And Deckard on the Bic trying to keep that alive a little bit low. Dispatches it out, 11-7.
And this very much is January cobwebs, if you will. Just that connection and the tempo and the smoothness with which the offense is going to run. These two teams going to really work on that.
Tight, back to Lynch, who kept it alive. Mosier into area one, got 6.
No defender is ever playing in that corner. That's going down at every level in every single game.
Into the hula hoop. Here's Daniel Son. Ace for Tyler Herget. 13-7 Cougars on a 4-0 run.
Herget again just serving. Started out this match with an incredible run. And now St. Francis is like, I remember when he got on fire last time. Let's stop that.
Well, you want a 4-0 run, up 6 in set number 2 in Provo. Tyler Herget back at center. Taylor Jonathan Tufunga outside. Jackson Fife at libero. Lost 5 seniors, lost 10 players overall. BYU was expecting to just kind of ride it out with some freshmen and be young, and then Grand Canyon cut their program, and that meant there's an opportunity to bring over some of the talent. Trent Mosier, Connor O'Daney in the starting lineup. You have Kyle Zedeker as the backup setter, and then Max Philippe is the only other middle blocker on the roster with just 3 middles, and so those guys are all going to be part of the equation. Smashed by Stump.
That's where, as a blocker, O'Daney, you see him jump with that middle with the setter, leaving wide open outside. Turns around, hand up, my bad.
First look at Luke Bacchius tonight. Served a little bit last night. High toss from Bacchius, gets after it, but out. What kind of adjustments do the Cougars want to make or keep going? Here's Kenzie Daly, who is in the BYU huddle.
Yeah, Jerem, it's interesting because we just saw Connor O'Daney get stuck on the block and jump with the setter, and that's exactly what BYU was just talking about in their timeout. There's a lot of jumpiness right now in the middle and on the pins, on the block. They're jumping with Kyle Charles, even though he hasn't been this offensive threat, and so the BYU coaching staff just talked to their team about getting back to their eye work and staying composed and not being so jumpy on the block.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not like Chuck's been going on 2 with him. So why are you going up with him as much as you are? That's a good question. The whiff by BYU. It comes over to the Cougars side, and Chambers and O'Daney both don't get it.
Well, I think the most important thing is no one got hurt, right?
Yeah.
And that's a miscommunication.
And they had fun.
But that's a tough one. And usually what you decide is if it's in the one spot, whoever it's on their dominant hand, their right hand, that would be Chambers, probably gets to take that ball in the future.
Both got the biggest eyes ever. Here comes this juicy
Right?
steak.
Yeah, it was good.
And they just burned it. 16-9. Won't make the end of your banquet highlight video. Actually, it might. Oh, that one too!
Well, here's where there's no libero in, right? So no libero in. Every free ball, the libero's going to take everything. What happens when the middle's in? Where usually you tell middles, get away from every ball. Do not take it. This time, Chambers, not remembering, hey, I'm the libero. I need to take that.
Jackson Fife's in. Order has been restored. That one into the BYU bench. And Sean Olmstead chatting with Gavin Chambers right now because that was 2 in a row where somebody's got to make a play. What's the meme where the guy's like, do something, poking with the stick, like, do something?
I don't know
BYU
that
did
one.
not in the last 2 plays prior to that serve. So Bacchius comes out. And looks like we're good for St. Francis. Took a sec. The deep breath before the plunge, as Gandalf once told us. Decker into the net. This has not been the cleanest match from a quality volleyball standpoint. Last night, much better in that regard. Kind of a step back.
I think that's a great point.
Tonight. Even though BYU is dominating by more than they did last night, it doesn't feel as clean, even though the margin is larger for the Cougars. There's Sam Lane in the area 5. Nice hit for him. 3 kills on 6 swings. 18-11. We'll just chalk it up to, as you mentioned, the January cobwebs.
Right.
Volleyball is unique in that it's right after Christmas and New Year's, like that next weekend you get going. I can't think of a harder time for anybody to start a season. And it's men's volleyball specifically.
Well, and I think volleyball in general is just such a rhythm sport and a flow state. So it's a big team sport where everyone has to contribute, and so that team has to really work together as one. And that's
Cottle hangs, and then Decker puts it down. Dig it anyway. Nice swing by Nicholas Lynch on the right side, connecting there with Kyle Charles. 7 kills now, exceeding anything anybody did for St. Francis last night. And Tufunga out, Trevor Herget in. Herget had some smashes last night, including the one that near the end of the match. Oh, the solo block by Trevor Herget. Wax on, wax off.
Trent Mosier, when he saw that ball going over, he thought, oh no. But then turning around, Herget, terrific job by the front row setter. Good thing he was front row.
The Han Solo, as our homie Steve Vale, Rip, would say. Never tell him the odds. And who you calling scruffy looking? 2012 BYU. Cottle tried to play it off the net for Chambers. 2013. Next week, St. Francis goes to Northern Kentucky. And BYU will host UC San Diego, former MPSF foe, Big West. Yeah. I do miss the massive MPSF where there were like 26 conference matches. But every other year you had Long Beach State and Hawaii and UC Irvine's still coming in here. BYU's playing UC Irvine more than they are some MPSF teams. Those are some fun times. We still have fun now, but those are some fun times. Lynch with the kill off the touch. He's finding a rhythm now. 8 for 16, 6 digs. He was a middle last night and a right side. That transition is not easy.
It's not, and he's done a great job. He's very quick laterally and can really explode. He's pretty springy. But you look at St. Francis kind of making a move here in this latter half of the second set, kind of like they did in the first set, but such a big hole, it's really tough to claw your way out of.
There's Mike Rumbaugh leading the charge with his team. Trevor Herget got a really nice serve. Goes out at 68. Pegs the line judge, Jeff Merrill. I don't know what he's got against Jeff. 22-15. There's the man of the hour for the Red Flash. Nicholas Lynch, formerly known as Lynch Nicholas. Mosier with the tip. Stump. Go to Lynch, looking for high hands, nothing there.
Yes, they got it, wow.
They did call tip, yeah, how about that? Nicely done. Chambers must have got it, BYU did not contest. And goes out. Service errors racking up for the Red Flash, 14 now.
Well, and I think coming into this, the offensive output from BYU last night, St. Francis knew they had to try to put a bottle on it or put a cap on it, and just going for it behind the service line, that's going to cause you to get a lot more errors.
Softly laid on a feather pillow by Sam Lane. I'd like to deliver this blanket to BYU on behalf of St. Francis. Here's Stump. Tickles the tape. 23-17 Brigham. Trevor Herget. 68 miles an hour on the swing. Set point.
So quick.
Man.
So springy, jumps so well.
How can he jump so high less than a year off his mission? I mean, Todd Herget never jumped like that as a linebacker at BYU. Come on. Set point, Brigham Young. You can get after it when you're up 7 on set point. Old Danny does so. Kyle Zedeker getting a chat. I wonder if he'll play in set 3, the backup setter. Here's Sam Lane, set point number 2. Mosier. Herget kept it alive. Trevor, that is. How about Mosier pushing over with the left hand out of the back row. Stump, Fife. With a dig, Mosier assessing the block, gets hands, and should get the point. I thought there was a touch there, I guess not. Nope. Point St. Francis, set point number 3.
Off-speed shot, just
no,
trying
not even
to
close.
chip that ball down the line, though. You knew what he was thinking, just missed.
They're still up by 5. Mosier finishes off set number 2, 25-19. So again, it takes 3 set points, so 7 set points to finish St. Francis off. They don't go down easy, but BYU wins by 7 and 6 respectively. Trent Mosier leading the way with 7 kills for BYU, and the Cougars are up 2-0 after the sweep last night against the St. Francis Red Flash. The Cougars played much better in that set, hit 421, 10 kills. St. Francis much better too, but 269, not enough to overcome. BYU winning set number 2, 25-19.
Well, I think it was all about the start, right? BYU had a really good start in both the first and second sets, which allowed them a little bit of comfort when St. Francis really made it push.
Sean Olmstead is with Kenzie.
Coach, the block has been a bit of a struggle so far in this match. What would you like to see defensively heading into set 3?
Yeah, we're not getting good looks at what's going on the other side, and we're overrunning things, getting our hands all over the place. And so we've got to be a little better, a little more disciplined block-wise for sure, because we're just letting little things get in the way. And so I don't think we're doing a good job of seeing the right things. And, you know, whether or not we see it too, there's a few plays that unfold where we just kind of are going to go instead of reacting to the ball and to the lane of approach from the attacker, and that's really hurting us for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks.
The BYU up 2-0, but certainly things to work on. We'll step aside. The Cougars lead St. Francis 25-18, 25-19. Set number 3 coming up after this.
And then just clean things up because they've found a way to be successful, but it kind of has taken them a while to warm up. Those first 2 sets, a little slow to get going, but towards the end, they've really found some success.
Kenzie is with St. Francis head coach Mike Rumbaugh.
Coach, it's been an uphill battle trying to side out and not allow so many BYU runs. How do you get back to putting pressure on BYU?
I thought Chuck came in and settled us down a little bit as a setter. I think we keep Chuck in the game, keep him involved, and it's just our guys got to feel confident when they get back to the end line and serve. I would like to see us aim for the tape and keep the ball in.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks to Rummy by Chuck. That's Kyle Charles, which is fun, who came in to start set 2. BYU will play Kyle Zedeker at setter to start set number 3, mixing it up, giving him a look. Everybody else in. I think we'll see Bernardo Adam as well at libero for BYU. And Trevor Herget will stay in at outside hitter for Talon Jonathan Tufunga. There's Bernardo Adam. He redshirted last year so they could offset his and Jackson Fife's years. And so there he is. We didn't see him last night. We see him tonight for the first time. The Brazilian, now the junior. He had good English when he came here, but awesome English now, a couple years later.
Oh.
Very impressive.
He does everything well. Really good addition to this team.
Former Brazilian U19 national team libero. Came in with great experience. So here we go, set number 3. And we'll see if St. Francis can push this thing beyond the sweep. They played a little better last night. BYU's widened that margin, but I think both teams certainly have a lot to clean up from this match. Great to have you with us. Jeremy Jordan, Amy Gant, Kenzie Daly, and our crew for BYU, number 8 in the country in St. Francis. Joust, won by Oldaney. Nope, won by Lynch.
Well, and no touch from Lynch.
So
as he
Chuck
went to get that ball. No, don't touch it.
Chuck does work. The 6'7" setter from Pennsylvania. St. Francis out of Loretto, Pennsylvania. Hour and a half east of Pittsburgh. This one's going to be tight. Oldaney keeps it alive. They reset. Chambers. That one hit the antenna, didn't it?
Definitely. Somebody did.
Oldaney. If BYU doesn't get the challenge, or excuse me, the point, they will likely challenge this, and touched by Adam. Oh, Sean Olmstead not looking like he will. I thought that touched the antenna on the other side. Maybe Sean's in a chill mood tonight, you know? We'll just set 3. This just goes off the tape, so it never did, yeah. I feel like I'm like 0 for 5 on this tonight.
It is the furthest antenna from us.
No excuses. Didn't get it. Thank you. Oldaney keeps it alive. Decker with the dig. Charles betters the ball. Stump, triple block. Decker right there. You can see Decker's played a little libero. You can kind of see that. Triple blocked by Chambers. Oldaney in motion.
Stump decided to go all in on the triple block. That's tough. It was well formed and shuts that down.
Into the net for Mosier. BYU's 9th service error. 3-1 red flash. Here's Braden Gall, junior from Wisconsin. Tickles the tape, handcuffs Ronald Adam. Tough angle for Oldaney. Chuck gets it up. Decker, high and slow, left-handed, off the block and in. BYU with another block. To make it 3 team blocks in the set, it's 2 points.
Right, and both these teams doing exactly what their coaches talked about, right? You saw St. Francis serving, hitting the tape. That's tough to do. All of them have done it. And then the BYU block has just steadied out, and they've been calm and just been up and over as they read the ball.
Real quick tempo to lane in the middle. That was nice. So a technical thing that you may not care about, but I just wanted to take the time to explain. So when 3 blockers go up and it is a triple block, it is 1.5 team blocks. That's how that works. If 2 go up, it's not who touches this. If 2 go up, it's 1 team block. So BYU has 3 blocks in the set, but it only counts for 2 points. It's a weird nuance as AJ Cottle hits it over. And most of you are like, I didn't ask you that question. I don't know why you just said that. But that's a statistical nuance that volleyball has that's interesting to me. I am now off my soapbox. Connor Oldaney. Tight, Trevor Herget puts it over. So why doesn't Kyle Charles, Chuck, get after it? He's a back row player right now. If he contacts it simultaneously with Herget, BYU gets the point. So he fakes like he's going to go after it, hoping the BYU block doesn't know where he is in rotation. 4-4. Tape tickler. Stump through the block, and that one's going to go out. Good hustle by Kyle Zedeker, one of the Grand Canyon Lope transfers. And I'm sure tonight is an emotional night for him as a kid from Chicago with the Bears going up against the Packers in the NFL wildcard. 5-4. Chris Brooks, former BYU Cougar, plays for the Packers. The stump goes long. Big news today for BYU football, by the way. Evan Johnson, they call him Shmev, cornerback, one of the best corners in the Big 12, announced he is returning. So every single major contributor that wasn't a senior has returned for BYU.
That is really
unbelievable
impressive
by Kalani Sitake.
Yeah, given the NIL and the portal.
Brady's stump goes out. It's amazing because Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator, went to Michigan, and not a single player went with him.
I was wondering.
It's not common. Normally you bring a couple of dudes. But how about that culture with Kalani Sitake, and they're hoping to run it back after 12-2 this year as Herget goes long. Trevor, that is.
This is an interesting point, sorry, in this third set, as you look at what happened in sets 1 and 2. St. Francis, a little bit of a slow start. Usually they kept it close, but at this point is when BYU really made their run in sets 1 and 2. So if St. Francis can continue and maybe be the first to 10, they're in great position because they've been playing great in the later part of these sets.
That was a wild play, hit out by Lynch, but the jump approach like a hit, then a set. Hilaire Heno at UC Irvine sort of started to make that popular, I feel like, where he would fake like he was going to set it, and then he would smash it. That one crushed in the middle by Gall.
Well, and I think going back to that play, it's interesting how that just really exploded at all levels. Usually there's a trickle down, but now you see it on the club level and then in college and internationally. What it really does is it's kind of like a chess move. You've got to decide who you're going to go with. Is he going to hit on 2 or is he going to set? The important part there is to make sure the location is there.
Trevor Herget. Boom goes the dynamite. Man, he is fun to watch.
Yeah, every swing is a highlight from him. He's got a terrific arm swing as well, so gets a lot of power and can get on the ball and finish quickly.
6'3" high flyer. Zedeker into the net. The sophomore from Naperville, Illinois, actually started against BYU, had 56 assists in a split last year, so familiar with the Cougars that way. It's Jackson Decker. Off of Bernardo Adam for the ace. Decker's first of the season. And the first tonight by someone not named Brady Stump. 9-8 red flash. High forward toss. Decker has to lean into it and he goes back to back. 10-8.
Using that tape again, St. Francis finding a bit of a rhythm there in the serve. They haven't missed as many. They're starting to dial it in and serve with a lot of power, but also in between the players, making them make decisions.
He gets that toss way out in front. Makes it so he has to really leap. I would love to see the broad jump of some of these men's volleyball players at the NFL Combine, because that kind of athleticism is indicative of, you know, what GMs and scouts wants. But these guys are broad jumping all the time. Stuffed by Chambers again. 7th block in the match, 4th of the set.
Chambers at 6'9", moving well, just trying to read and react. You watch that setter right until he releases the ball, you know where it's going, and just a quick shuffle to get up and over.
You know, he's struggling to serve in right now. Chambers' parents, Damon and Amber, both went to BYU. He's a biochemistry major, so he actually came here to go to school. Wants to go to medical school. Went on a mission to New Zealand, Auckland specifically. Oldest of 4 kids, they all play volleyball. Volleyball fan. And married a volleyball player. Claire Little, one of the stars of the BYU women's team. Zedeker gives Trevor Herget a chance. Nice play by 2 young guys. The sophomore Zedeker, the true freshman Trevor Herget.
Zedeker on the run there. Gets to it and, like you said, locates the ball perfectly. And Herget just utilizing that great jump, hits up and over that double block.
Amy, what's it like to just sky through the air and just kind of glide down? What's it like?
I mean, I still do it. So.
Now it's just verbal. Well, Danny, nicely done. There's value in just a good ball that stays in, and if it's not dug, maybe it's a point. So 12-11.
Right, it doesn't have to have a lot of power, but putting it in the right spot, you can find a lot of success. Put it on the right person, make them move.
Can we talk about the fact that BYU's names on the back of the jerseys? I don't recall that ever. And they didn't have it last night. On these black jerseys, they do. That's cool. Stump gets the kill. personalize it a little bit. Although we could have gone with a more aggressive font, could we not? Is that like Arial size 36? Like what are we talking about?
What do you want? A Comic Sans?
Something. Wingdings? No, just something. Just something a little more stylish. You want it to be clear and readable, of course.
There you go. Well, and you talk about St. Francis really sticking with BYU at this point. We haven't had this in the match so far. So if St. Francis can continue that pressure, that puts BYU in a situation where they have to play when it gets tight. What are they going to do? Are they going to make errors when the game's on the line? So far, it's been really loose for them because they've always been up by 5 or 6 points.
Massive seam in the block. Stump goes line, gets the kill. 9th for him, tied for a match high. And he's got that really nice serve, as you just saw. Out of the back row for Trent Mosier. And that wasn't down the middle per se. That was on the left side, which is a new look.
Right, there's so many ways to hit that bick out of the back row, and sometimes you've got 4 or 5 different bicks that you can call that really will utilize finding the open spots on the court.
Nice pass up the Trevor Herget offering. Zedeker sets over. Read well by Duff. Muldaney high for Mosier. Shot goes outside the antenna. So the GCU guys connect again. 15-13. And with no called timeouts, that's our media timeout. Let's pay some bills. Set 3, a tight one. BYU up 2-0 in the match. Amazing ski and snowboard resorts here in Utah. 15-13. Trevor Herget out of the media timeout. Inside of the block for the kill for St. Francis and Jackson Decker. 1-point set in set 3. So why is it a 1-point set if BYU is hitting 412 and St. Francis is hitting 118?
Well, and I think you look overall just the opportunities to swing. In this particular set, they've both taken the same amount of swings, but St. Francis, like we talked about, their offense just out hitting BYU as far as number of kills, which is a huge difference from last night. They've made a good adjustment and just started to score a little bit. Good
faux move by AJ Cottle, going up strong and then not actually touching it, and it stays on that side. He will serve. Cottle 3 for 7 tonight with a block. Goes way long on that one.
I think those missed serves are really keeping St. Francis in this as BYU bails them out. The passing as well for BYU has struggled a bit as they really aren't in system. That's tough for Zedeker to step in and then have to be out of system all the time and try to set that offense.
Guys, what the heck? This is my first action as a Cougar. Come on, give me some good passes here. That's a better pass. Trevor Herget with some pepper off of Cole Doran into the match for the first time. 17-15. Trevor Herget, 5 kills off the bench.
And there you go. That's what a pass does, right? Perfect pass allows Zedeker to really formulate an offense, open up some space for his hitters.
(17-15). Nice serve by Zedeker at 66. And then smashed by Stump out of the back row. 10 kills now, first Red Flash player in double figures.
And that physicality that St. Francis brings, they've got a really tall team. They're moving well. That starting to connect a little bit with the setter and keeping it close in this third set.
Long from Decker. You'll tolerate a certain amount of errors because you have to be a certain amount of aggressive. 18 errors now from St. Francis. You've got to serve tough at this level to win. You can't be in third gear and let the other team be in system. Attack error on Lynch.
Just stepped over the line, but other than that, really smooth approach. Nice play, but that was a big point as BYU gets closer to that 20-point mark.
Mosier, Decker over past Muldaney. Nicely done, not to net on that one, 19-16. On the OPK overpass kill. Timeout, St. Francis. BYU trying to get the sweep, up by 4 late in set 3. They say he's the best mascot in the country. That's what I hear. That's the word on the mean streets of Provo in their biased opinions. No, but no one does the things he does. At football games at BYU, after the first quarter, he always does some kind of stunt.
There's always fire involved.
There's fire involved. There's jumping. There's water. It's crazy. Trent Mosier into the net. That's why you call the timeout. So well done by Rummy.
Well, and you look at this crowd, just such a great environment. The Smith Fieldhouse, a lot of teams love to bring their players in here to play in front of this crowd who's loud. They know volleyball, they respect it. It's an incredible atmosphere to have that experience.
Lynch keeps it alive, and then Gall doesn't. He lets it fall down, 21-17. This will be excellent film on middle blockers. We would like you to occasionally get the ball on.
But not this time. But you know, like, it's so hard when you're a middle. Get away, get away, get away. Half your job as a middle is to stay out of the way.
That's funny. Stump tight. Oh, Charles is like, no one's up. Thank you very much. Kyle Charles, sophomore setter, 6'7". And he'll come out. In comes Braden Karuzovich, who played set 1, got pulled. He's back in here at the end of set 3 from State College, PA, home of Penn State. And no, I don't want to talk about the 2016 NCAA tournament for BYU, though. The first of back-to-back losses in 16-17 in the title game to Ohio State, with Nicholas Scherzer, who had unbelievable serves, man. The Frenchman, 22-18. Connor Oldani, BYU 3 points away from busting out the brooms, literally, to clean up the Smith Fieldhouse. Chuckster, touched by Herget. Back to Stump, who just smashes that through the block and got the touch.
Wow.
Also, we had a great angle of that. We're right behind that. Sends a shot across the bow into the BYU bench, too. Ah!
He just bombed that. That was just, I'm going for hands. I hope I catch something.
68, but out. Stump's a fun server to watch. 23-19. That's your favorite set score, is it not?
It is.
It's a good one.
It's nostalgic.
If you know, you know. It's Trevor Herget. He's going to go 67. 71 for the ace. Wow. 70 plus from the freshman. Going to get a speeding ticket on University Avenue with that miles per hour. Match point. You better believe he's sinking his teeth into this one. 75 overpass, and Mosier ends it. How about Trevor Herget's serve there, and then Mosier says good night.
I think you look at these fans, a lot of new players on the floor, the same excitement for this BYU team, a lot of fun players to watch, incredible effort and finish from Herget.
What a highlight ender as Mosier gets his 11th. BYU ends on a 3-0 run, and for the first time in the 3 sets, BYU finished on the first set point. In this case, the match point. BYU hits 387, but really the 71-mile-an-hour ace and then the 75-mile-an-hour overpass. Trevor Herget, what a weekend for him. He's going to see the court this year. Red shirt already burned. He's going to be wearing the black shirt, the white shirt, the blue shirt, all kinds of shirts for Trevor.
Well, I think, you know, we got to see a lot of different players for this BYU team, and now they have a lot of data as they head into next week. Changes to make, things they like, things they want to tighten up there, but a good opening weekend for the Cougars, and for St. Francis, I think they got the same. They get to go back home, get to work, and really focus on a lot of good stuff for this team that's going to be there at the end of the season.
So BYU starts the season 2-0. They'll host UC San Diego next week. St. Francis moves to Northern Kentucky next week. We appreciate Mike Rumbaugh and St. Francis and all their help with the preparation this week. Kenzie is with Tyler Herget.
Tyler, you've been such a leader for this team over the last several years. Tell me about this program and what it has meant to you.
I think over the past 3 years, I've seen nothing but growth from every single player, and I think that's something important. Like, everyone can come in at a certain level, whether that be high or low, but I think our coaches do such a good job improving every single player, and everyone gets to get reps, whether that be in practice or on the court. And so I think that helps them grow mentally and physically as a player.
You get to spend your last year at BYU playing with your brother, who, quite frankly, I can't tell apart from you at all. What's it like playing at this level with Trevor?
It's really awesome. I think more than just playing at this level, it's great to be on the court with a family member, and I think that's something super special, and I'll cherish for the rest of my life. I think everyone dreams about it, and I just take it one day at a time, and I enjoy it.
Can you shed some light on his performance already through his first weekend as a freshman at BYU? We're seeing a lot of power and energy from him, and we can tell that he's going to make an impact.
Yeah. I think I hit the ball harder, but, you know, he definitely brings a lot of energy, and I think that's something important. He's a little calm and a little shy sometimes, but I think that once you give him the ball, there's no stopping him. So I think that's something that he's got going for him.
Well, we're excited to continue watching you both, and congratulations on the weekend.
Thank you, Kenzie.
Tyler Herget. So what a match point. 75 miles an hour on this serve. And then the overpass. And Trenton Mosier's like, I got dinner plans. And BYU wins it. What impressed you the most about BYU this weekend?
I think their steadiness overall. You know, we didn't see a lot of that January play in there, and especially with so many different players and a different look, just really surprised at how quickly they were cohesive and were able to play together.
So the Cougars await the Tritons of UC San